me, time for payback.
Nice.
What's up YouTube? It's your boy, 21 Kiloton, Ubisoft superfan and live service fanboy, coming at you with the latest, hottest news on one of the most diverse, inclusive, equitable, upcoming video game releases of 2024. I'm super excited about Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm super excited about how super excited I am. So, smash that subscribe button, preferably with your face. Click that notification bell, preferably with your mouse and your face, and make sure to hit that like button for a chance to win a romantic weekend for two in Kabul. So, let's get right into this. Ubisoft is once again about to revolutionise the entire video games industry by creating the world's most authentic samurai gangster experience ever seen. A game that is almost destined to be Ubisoft's most successful video game launch that week. Ubisoft's magnificent reputation precedes it. Famous for creating some of the best franchises of all time, making repeated sequels of the same franchises for all time, they made the first 3 good Far Cry games, the first 3 pretty good Assassin's Creed games, the now infamous Division 1, that other Division game which was a bit shit, the game with the cars, the sports game with the big shop, that weird dancing game to help chubsters lose weight. Although it was always a bit odd that they kept hiring fatter and fatter dancers for the E3 show year on year. No hate, I'm a video game fatty too. I probably would have played Just Dance if there was a version you could play sitting down. Ubisoft has also been a groundbreaking publisher in all areas of the video game safe space, leading the charge with in-game monetization, giving free drugs to its staff at social events without them even having to ask. Constantly standing by and supporting its employees by investing vast amounts of money into the HR department so that it could loyally defend its senior managers against decades of spurious, grooming and sexual assault accusations. They stand by their guys. They were so honourable about their handling of the situation that they even had half their executive management team resign in a show of good faith. And now, after many years of fans begging Ubisoft for an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, they've finally announced Assassin's Creed Shadows. But just to subvert everyone's expectations, they made this samurai experience as gangster as fuck. You get to play the role of Yasuke, the best samurai of all time who literally changed Japanese history and single-handedly saved Japan from itself. Or you can play as a little Malaysian ninja lady whose name I forget. Ubisoft has a stellar track record and epic legacy of Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed, the good one. Assassin's Creed, the second one. Assassin's Creed 3, the one where they hate on the English. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where they hate on the English even more. And now Assassin's Creed Shadows, where they finally hate on Asians. Assassin's Creed is one of the highest grossing video game franchises of all time, spanning over 15 years and over 20 different mostly forgettable remakes. It literally represents a stunning victory of brand loyalty over discerning consumer behaviour. Sure, some of the sequels are a bit crusty, most of them were boring and one was VR, but if there is one thing you can say about Assassin's Creed games, it's that there are lots of them. More importantly though, is that there are a lot of Assassin's Creed fans. And either through emotional investment, brilliant marketing or sheer boredom, Assassin's Creed has, until now, been one of the world's most successful video game franchises. Hell, even Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a blockbuster, and that one was frankly a bit shit. In this iteration of Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft is going to whisk us off to Japan, a spectacularly beautiful and majestic island nation situated off the coast of some backward communist shithole. These days Japan is one of the most technologically advanced countries in Asia. They have robot waitresses, toilets, with buttons, and they don't even eat dog. But back in feudal times, it was a warrior-based ethno-state, plunged into constant war, primarily because they don't like foreigners much, or each other for that matter. It was basically like an Asian version of Wakanda, only much less annoying, a lot less racist, and with considerably less idiots. Feudal Japan was an awesome place. The peasants worked hard in exchange for free portions of rice, the samurai had cool swords, clubs and armour, and everyone knew their place in society. Even the women. Everybody was happy and content, and anyone who wasn't content got their head chopped off. Perhaps that kind of policing was a tiny bit excessive by today's standards, but at least society had a sense of order. They had zero unemployment and the streets were clean. Well, once they cleaned up after their traditional bukkake punishment rituals, of course. Still, it was better than whipping people, I guess. Ubisoft strive to ensure that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be the most historically accurate samurai game factually ever. And despite what they recently said in their apology letter to the Japanese government, in interviews with the developers they had been promoting the authentic historical accuracy of this game for months, and assuring the public that they can literally learn about genuine Japanese culture because the game is that historically accurate in its representation of authentic black gangster samurai hip-hop culture.
I said kill him!
They have achieved these levels of factual excellence by working incredibly closely with historians of Japanese culture. That not only had a huge emotional and political investment in the project, but also had extensive access to Wikipedia and had spent years editing it to conform with their own theories about black gay samurai warriors. As everyone knows, nothing says truth more than being written on Wikipedia. Following the rich cultural tradition of make sure that you have a black dude and a chick as the main protagonist, you get to play as either the giant black man-mounted death machine Yasuke, who doesn't seem to like Asians very much, or some little androgynous Malaysian chick whose name escapes me. You get to explore a super realistic samurai world full of small Asian men that you can murder. It's full of thuggery, violence, and probably lots of subplots about how exploiting the poor workers is bad, because communism. They don't mind, they get free rice, they love that shit. On top of that, the game combines a gangster aesthetic, thug life, and a banger of a soundtrack, which is a fusion of tourist Japanese synth elevator music and hip-hop. If you're anything like me, you must be super hyped for this upcoming, authentic, gangster samurai bonanza. So pass me my katana, it's the one that says bad motherfucker. Assassin's Creed Shadows introduces stunning and brave, super original game mechanics. You can spend hundreds of hours bimbling around, picking up gonks and collecting stuff in a giant, quasi-procedurally generated open world full of Asian men that you can stab to death, because Asians are white adjacent, so they earned the hate by being successful. Ubisoft worked tirelessly to create the best possible animations for all aspects of combat, stamping on an Asian man's skull, stabbing an Asian man in the chest, and smashing an Asian man's head to a pulp with a club, all with carefully crafted motion capture animations and authentic sound effects of real Japanese people being murdered. I meant to say realistic. The environment is rich with unattended boxes full of stuff you can loot. The world is full of lots of dots on the map for you to run towards using your in-game samurai GPS tracking UI. And the stories are full of progressive tales about tolerance, inclusivity and white privilege, so you can savour and enjoy the rich tapestry of authentic feudal Japanese society. When you're not murdering little Asian men, of course. By working closely with information officers from companies like Sweet Baby Inc., Ubisoft has ensured a trigger-free experience for the fragile, vulnerable and easily upset player. Obviously, the game is very triggering if you're Japanese, a fan of samurai culture, or indeed, the average gamer. But Ubisoft has moved beyond traditional boundaries of confining enjoyment to normal gamers, because they felt it was time to make the Assassin's Creed franchise more accessible to a modern audience. Hopefully, by making this game much more appealing to the modern progressive customer, some of these people will possibly start playing video games for the first time, maybe even this one. The player power fantasy is unrivaled with its attention to historical, factual detail. You climb around on roofs wearing 50 pounds of samurai armour, carrying a backpack with 200 pounds of crafting materials and weapons, while stalking your enemies through walls with X-ray vision. You jog around from village to village, full of weak, ineffective or just plain evil NPCs, where you quickly realise that it's the strong, smart, independent, underappreciated women in the villages which are the real force for good in the world. If only those annoying men would just get out of the way and refrain from using the patriarchy to stop all the females from implementing all their good ideas. You will do quests which explore all kinds of relevant social issues. Forbidden gay love, how the patriarchy is bad, why capitalism is wrong, why socialism is good, grooming young boys, why religion is stupid. You will meet at least one token transgender character, get a quick lecture about how most people are racist, get multiple and continuous references to racism in Japanese society, probably get at least a couple of lectures about disability, mental health issues and intergenerational relationships. That's a posh phrase for bumming kids. And if you play your cards right, do the right quests and make the right choices, you might, if you're lucky, get a chance to be bottomed by some other samurai geezer. Because God knows, that's why most people play video games these days. Am I right? Assassin's Creed Shadows provides the player with a totally original and unique samurai subgenre by mashing together Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, quite a lot more of Ghost of Tsushima, and you guessed it, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now I know what the fans are thinking right now. Will there be enough microtransactions? Of course there will. Ubisoft has ensured that for every one developer working on the game, there will be at least 5 developers working on the cosmetic outfits, loot boxes and in-game microtransactions. Players won't have to worry about finding good looking outfits in the game by playing, because Ubisoft has saved you the effort and now you can buy them at the convenient and ever-present in-game store, easily and unavoidably, every time you escape out to the menu. Do you want some rainbow coloured armour for Yasuki? Ubisoft has already designed it. You want to dress up like a gangster from South Central? Ubisoft has already designed a series of microtransactional outfits that are straight out of Compton. Ubisoft is keeping it real. So real, the outfits come with the bullet holes already in them. You want a furry outfit for Yasuki? Ubisoft has you covered. Hell, Ubisoft is already working on a furry outfit for your horse. And that's already a horse. Although sadly, at the time of writing, Ubisoft has refused to confirm or deny if your horse will be available as a romance option within the game, which is a bit discriminatory against furries, but there's still time. There might even be a few clothing options for that little Malaysian ninja lady whose name escapes me, although I think you only get access to those if you pick the lesbian playthrough options. Everything you might ever want or need to play LGBTQ plus 2ASS dress up Barbie for either Yasuki or that little Malaysian lady whose name escapes me but can be a lesbian too will be right at your fingertips from a month after launch. You can buy it faster than it will take you to shout, "Shut up and take my mum's credit card details." In fact, in order to remove any pain points from the game altogether or impact the player's time too heavily, they'll be introducing XP booster packs and quest completion tokens in the in-game store. So if you want, you can level up your character and complete the entire game without even playing at all. All Ubisoft ask is that people are a little bit patient, because most of the microtransactions won't be available on launch day. But don't you worry, the second the early access reviewers and the legacy media have pumped out those high review ratings Ubisoft has paid so much money for and the review cycle is over, the floodgates can finally open in the in-game microtransaction shop. Ubisoft has even gone as far as to pay a host of variety streamers to play the game before, during and after launch, until the marketing budget runs out at least, so that players and potential customers can be shown why and how they should enjoy the game, with all the associated fake exaggerated facial expressions and pretend shock reactions we've come to expect from any AAA marketing department hired streamer. The friendly and disingenuous community managers will be all over the forums, subreddit and Discord like a rash. A literal rash. To help answer your questions, pin any positive posts, signal boost your cosplay pictures, tell you what to think, formulate your opinions, ban anyone who complains about the bugs or the price of the cosmetic outfits. So if you can't enjoy this game with their help and instructions, then there is either something wrong with you, or you should just bugger off to some other game forum because you won't be welcome here with your toxic negativity. On top of all of this, with Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft is gunning for this year's awards for accessibility, with the game supporting multiple visual modes, colourblind settings, audio description, enhanced audio, trackable support, full voice control, and all this comes with subtitles and audio tracks in 54 different languages, only 7 of which are Chinese dialects. Basically, you could be a deaf and blind Chinese quadriplegic and still enjoy Assassin's Creed Shadows, as long as your nurse can shout commands at the PC. Christ, you'll probably enjoy it more than normal players. I can only speak for myself, but personally I think I would enjoy Assassin's Creed Shadows a lot more if I didn't have to see it, hear it, or physically interact with it. There has been one very minor controversy regarding the game. The government of Japan might be going to war with Ubisoft over one trivial detail. 100% of samurai were Asian men, but the main character in this video game is a big black gay man who kills Asians for laughs. Or you can play as that little Malaysian lady whose name escapes me. Obviously, complaining about the main samurai being a big black gay dude is horribly bigoted, racist, homophobic, anti-furry and infringes on the rights of groomers. It is also frankly a classic example of how patriarchal figures within the Japanese government are demonstrating their Asian white adjacent privilege by trying to erase Afro-American culture from the history of Japan in the 1500s. Bigots. Basically, anyone that thinks that a giant gay black samurai is a bad idea is fundamentally a bad person and should be immediately deplatformed and cancelled. And to quote the now immortal words of former EA senior executive Patrick Soderlund, just before he was fired, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Regardless of the alt-right extremist, racist, homophobic KKK backlash, history is full of factual examples of real non-Asian samurai, and any idiot could find that out for themselves with a simple Google search. Tom Cruise, Wesley Snipes, Steven Seagal, Uma Thurman, that white fella from Shogun, Eddie Murphy. All of these non-Asian samurai are well documented and proven historical fact. Although to be fair, if Steven Seagal gets any more facelifts, he will probably start looking like an Asian. Okay, maybe that ship has sailed. Ubisoft is painfully aware that sometimes facts can be racist, even though they might be true because they are technically facts. But I'm sorry, but whatever your politics, there is no place in this world for racist facts. And if you support or defend racist facts, then you are a racist too. So Ubisoft has been working very closely with 2 historical experts. Experts in editing Wikipedia so that the racist facts can be replaced with facts that are more aligned with today's modern audience and current day political sensitivities. They hired professionals like Sashi Schmidt-Horry. They are a world-renowned historian who specialises in writing books about samurai boy love and how samurai trainees used to get buggered by their masters. In fact, if you want to know anything about how one of these dudes bottomed one of these little dudes, she is literally the foremost authority on the planet. Everyone has to have goals, I guess. Just to add to her qualifications, she is a hardcore feminist, supporter of intergenerational relationships, and an LGBTQ+2ASS political activist. Of course she is. There is also the renowned novelist and part-time historical fiction writer Thomas Lockley. He spent decades editing Wikipedia to bring it in line with his narrative, in accordance with his fictional book about Yasuki being an 8-foot tall indestructible black rights activist samurai death machine. So you could literally say this is history in the making, because he went onto Wikipedia and made thousands of edits just so you could have an authentic black gay samurai experience which was 100% truthful to what it says on the internet. The important thing to remember here is that Ubisoft literally wrote the book on black gay samurai, and I mean that literally, and figuratively. She wrote the book about samurai buggering little boys. He wrote the book about black samurai. Then he rewrote the Wikipedia about black samurai. Then Ubisoft started making a game about black gay samurai, because adding all this stuff together is where the real Ubisoft magic happens. And they also included some stuff in the game about that little Malaysian ninja lady whose name escapes me. Now add all of this to the anime shows, comic books, and fan fiction about Yasuki, which just bolsters the case that this must be historically true. The entire Yasuki fanbase can't be full of shit. But despite Ubisoft working incredibly hard to manufacture all of this factual authenticity, now the Japanese government come along and tries to culturally appropriate samurai culture like it's any of their business. This is just pure racism and the cultural colonisation of African American Japanese samurai history. Now, it has been argued by some cynics that Ubisoft might be targeting Japan for humiliation. Just because they only have a tiny communications office in Tokyo, but the Ubisoft studio in China is massive. And there might be a political incentive to offend the Japanese because the Chinese hate the Japanese even more than Ubisoft. Hell no! This is just too ridiculous to even consider. The Chinese would never pressure anyone into rewriting history or censoring their game just to service the ego of the Chinese Republic of Communism. I think the situation is best summed up by Alyssa McCante, Legacy Access journalist, comedian and champion for rights for facially challenged camgirls. As she stated in her recent article in Kotaku, in joined up sentences, the backlash against Assassin's Creed Shadows by Japan is simple. All Japanese people are horrible, bigoted, violently racist scum. They make sweeping generalisations about other races and cultures, and in doing so betray the fact that all Japanese people are misogynistic, prejudiced, patriarchal pigs. She went on to stress that the last thing she wanted to do was to engage in prejudicial comments about all Japanese people, tar them with the same brush, or invalidate their lived experience, because prejudice is never acceptable. However, she felt compelled to point out that all Japanese people are hateful and disgusting and they should all be deported from Japan. These same sentiments were echoed by Ash Parrish, journalist intern at The Verge and sex activist who supports underrepresented losers in the gaming industry. She hammered home the point by stating anyone who complains about Yasuki being a gangster is basically a hate-filled racist using Japanese culture as a shield. She then went on to explain in great detail how Assassin's Creed fans are violently racist scum, Japanese people are violently racist scum, all white people are violently racist scum, all men are violently racist scum. She seemed quite angry about this stuff, to be honest. But then again, it must be really hard work constantly pointing out to everyone that everyone is violently racist scum. Well, I think that settles it really. Alyssa McCante and Ash Parrish said it's okay, so it must be true. After all, they work in the legacy media. And OnlyFans. Probably. Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be the blockbuster success that has eluded Ubisoft for years. The standard edition retails for $89.99. Big Black Gay Pride Edition retails for $129.99. The Black Panther Edition retails for $219.99. The BLM Special Gold Edition retails for $299.99, with 10% of the purchase price going to Patrice Culler's Swiss bank account, where she promises it will be spent on the poor black neighbourhoods in Minneapolis that she helped burn down a few years ago. She promised it wouldn't be spent on strippers. And I take her word for it. or you can just play Assassin's Creed Shadows on Ubisoft Play Plus. Please note that the Yasuki Special Limited Edition side quests and content are only available separately in the Gangsta Special Edition add-on DLC for an additional $39.99. This bundle includes the Pimp My Ride horse armour, the Bitches Be Mine Pimp minigame, the King of the Pimps face mask, the Bukaki Champion app for Android, and the Knockout Game side quest, where you can earn prizes by sneaking up behind unsuspecting Japanese people and punching them in the head. I don't think anyone can question the historical accuracy of that activity. Legal disclaimer: Ubisoft operates a strict no refunds policy on all digital purchases, not that it matters because customer service complaints are usually ignored anyway. Be aware, subject to future actions by the Japanese government and the outcome of a Ubisoft shareholder revolt, the game might be cancelled without notice nor refund. Because let's face it, they will not back down and face the backlash of changing the main character to an Asian samurai. That would be racist. So take a huge leap of faith and pre-order the most authentic black gay gangster samurai experience of the year. But for now, good luck and happy hunting.